Hey everybody, MichaelBtheGameGenie here, and that went red on my mic auxiliary, so hopefully that wasn't too loud, but let me know if it was, guys. I'd appreciate that. It's chillin' chat time. Oh my god, it's gone red again. It's chillin' chat time. Today, we are talking about price increases, but before we do that, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. There's been some people here right from the very beginning. Sling Spade, Scott Gray, Mike Hawk Hertz, and Mike Hawk just ordered the X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet, and we can totally connect, buddy, and throw down on that. Ezekiel Fuentes Jr., what's happening? Hollywood Polo, my day was good. How was yours, brother? Adam 12, how's it going? Danny Decoded. Who else we got in here? Katsujinkin 10, how's it going? I also saw Conti, my friend from Canada. How are you, buddy? Brad O'Connell, like always, Brad, thank you so much. Danny Dakota, did I mention? We've also got Stringer Films. What's happening, Stringer Films? Zohar, my friend, how are you? Tim Barberi, Shotgun Sean, Alfred Berger, Mitchell B, Mango Slice, Carl LaFontaine, my friend, Emery Arcade, Ryan Gerber, Zero Hero, yes, Jaster Trail, slightly negative feelings about Tuesday show. That is most accurate. Stephen Ramey, Travis Solders. Oh, Stringer Films, what's up, Michael B? I ordered Michael B shirt today. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Stringer. I appreciate that, brother. Robo Grunt, how's it going? All right, guys, so before we get started, does anybody have any questions right off the bat? I saw someone mention something about the Marvel and Star Wars cabinets, options to make the playfields bigger. I don't know. I know that Gotham, how's it going? Pat Lepre, good evening. Your Average Gamer, what's happening, brother? Also, I got in back on the Your Average Gamer pinball tournament's last one. I did Back to the Future. I didn't do very well. I started playing Jaws today, and you guys are so good, man. Like, I went in there and I was like, oh, let's check what the scores are. And, like, I just got to get, like, 111 million. So far, I'm at, like, 14. No problem. Anyways, I'm back in the tournaments, guys. I see Steve Drumhiller, my fellow Newfoundlander Perry Ball that's been displaced, 8-bit vinyl. All right, I got to catch up with the chat here. How about those $89 Legends Gamer Minis? It's not quite the sale that the $99 Legends Gamer Pros were, but actually a lot of people prefer the Legends Gamer Mini if they're going in that direction. Did I build a basement yet? Oh, I already have a basement. That's a problem. I need to expand the basement. Zen Studios said they will be sending out one patch to fix all issues, so they're collecting all data right now. It'll be some time. Honestly, guys, I've said it right from the start. I still think these pinball tables are amazing. But if they can do a patch to fix stuff, like Zero Hero said, I'm willing to take that too. Jolly Green, how's it going? So, we're here to talk about price increases. And after a couple weeks of me being lazy, I made a list. I went back to making a list so we can talk about this. So, you guys have heard me... Oh, Puppet Master. I like that. That's actually one of my favorite horror movies, too. The original Puppet Master. Not big on the entire series, but I love the first movie. It's just something different about it. The whole thing with the psychics, loved it. Okay, so... Anyways, I've been mentioning this for my last couple chats. I've been mentioning on Super Game Room Dudes, other shows I've been on. Price increases are coming. And price increases have actually been planned for quite some time for some products. Everybody knows that Arcade1UP, Cool Toy mentioned in a lot of his videos back right around the CES announcements and kind of before that, that there's a possibility that all Arcade1UP cabinets are going to be more expensive going forward. And it was pretty easy to find out that the increased price is going to be $100. So not the legacy cabs, but all the other cabs like Killer Instinct, X-Men, the new cabs going forward for your standard versions, which I don't mean the standard versions you see in Walmart for $2.99, but the version with the riser, lit marquee, they're going to be $4.99. We saw it with the restock of Golden Axe, $4.99. That's going to be the base price for Arcade1UP going forward. So we knew that. But what you guys probably didn't know is there's some other price increases coming as well. So that's what I want to talk about today. First up is one that's probably going to surprise you guys, but Toyshock. Toyshock is actually going to be coming back with an increased price. I had heard some rumors that Toyshock was, when it comes back in stock, the new amounts. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I had heard the number $4.99 being thrown around for Toyshock going forward. I do know right now the number being thrown around, we're going to get, if they make cab correctly, I don't mind. Yeah, Zohar, we're going to talk about that. That's coming a little bit later. Stringer Films brings up an excellent point. I think 100%, I think they should all have Wi-Fi capabilities. Not so much just for playing with people, just for the simple fact of how easy it is to do an update. Like right now, the updates, you can do them, but they're a little complicated. It's like the Hack-Chi hack. I'm sorry, back in the day, gamer. This is also a room where my cats are, so I was cleaning up some stuff. Anyways, so Toyshock is going to be possibly $4.99 US. We know for a fact that it's going to be $7.99 in Canada. So, I'm glitchy, Jeff Wilson says. Am I really glitchy, guys? I've got a pretty strong connection here. If I am glitchy, I apologize. But anyways, $7.99 in Canada for Toyshock is what's been thrown around. And I was a little concerned about that because the price of the Arcade1UP cabinets, which, you know, would be considered by some more of a brand name product, and with the Zen Pinball games would be a little bit above and beyond what Toyshock was offering to some people, depending on what games you like. I was very surprised that they were going to match it. Like, usually Toyshock is considered to be the value proposition cabinet. Always was. They got out first, and they had a great price point that let people jump into pinball. So the fact that... Oh, Skynet, thank you so much. Buttery smooth and fantastic. Excellent. So the fact that Toyshock was going to be $7.99 kind of surprised me, but I had actually talked to Jeff Falke, and he didn't confirm the price, but he told me that, there was some increased costs with getting things to Canada. Like, it's more expensive than shipping to the United States, and shipping prices have gone bananas in the last little while. Like, if you guys, anybody out there is doing retail stuff right now, you know how expensive it is to get stuff shipped. It's nuts. And I'm not talking about just through Canada Post or through normal couriers. I'm talking about cargo shipping has gone through the roof. So we're looking at possibly $7.99 Canadian for Toyshock, which at first seemed, not a very good price. However, we also know that the Arcade1UP cabinets already jumped price in Canada. Back a couple of months ago, I had picked up my Attack from Mars, and I had picked up also my Marvel table, and I was considering whether or not I was going to get Star Wars. Just a second so I can get a cup of coffee. So I was considering, I had Marvel and Attack from Mars, and I was considering whether or not I was going to get Star Wars. And we got a heads up from the Brick that the tables were actually going to be going up in price. We got a heads up that all the pinball tables were going to go from $7.99 to $8.49. We also got a heads up that Buck Hunter was going to go from $7.49 to $7.99, which I told you guys about because I was considering whether or not I was going to pick up Buck Hunter. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, well, now's the time. I grabbed Star Wars because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm pretty excited about it. But we already got a price increase. We've talked about that, so we already got the price increase for the pinballs, and we got the price increase for the Buck Hunter. And that was just to do with shipping and some to do with the exchange rate, I assume. But there's additional price increases coming. The Brick also reached out to us just a little while ago and told us if you guys are interested, specifically with the Attack from Mars, the extra 100 covers the new added waterproofing. Stringer Films. It's funny. Jamie Loken, how's it going? Thank you so much for the super chat again, Stringer Films. I appreciate it. Sean Nesbitt, how's it going? We were told that, I don't know about Marvel and Star Wars, but we were told specifically from the Brick here in Canada that if we wanted to get Attack from Mars, we should jump on it right now, because once this allotment sells out currently in Canada for retailers, they're not going to be able to get any more Attack from Mars back in until the fall, and then when it does come back in, it's going to be significantly more expensive. She couldn't give us an exact amount, but she said significantly more expensive. And then, of course, everybody saw the placeholder advertisement on GameStop for Marvel Pinball at $7.99 US, and everybody was like, well, that can't be realistic. I mean, that's got to be a placeholder price. But is it? So we know that Arcade1UP are already increasing their arcade cabinets up an additional $100, but it's not unrealistic to think that they're also going to jump the pinball up. $200. The pinball right now started at $549, slid slowly to $599, and now, yeah, possibly $7.99. That does go in line. You hit those A's with the extra Canadian accent. I know, Simply Retro. I can't help it. $4.99 is tops for me with arcade. I know, it's tough. The $7.99 could be real, Conti, is exactly where I'm going with this. According to the information we got from the brick on what's going to happen with the attack from Mars, the $7.99 is pretty realistic. I don't have any hard facts on this one, but I also wanted to bring up the fact that AtGames, you notice I mentioned it in the title, AtGames put out a notice today that they're having some issues with, it's not really issues, I mean, it's not their fault, it's the world that we're in, but AtGames is having some problem meeting the production goals they set for themselves and getting the products out. Right now, there's no guaranteed increases, but we've kind of been told that we can expect some increases to AtGames prices. Now, do you anticipate any raise in price for the Wave 5 and 6 of AtGames Pinball? Yes. I think AtGames is going to be the most realistic. I think if we see any kind of increase in price for AtGames, you're looking at maybe a $50 to $100 increase maximum for all products. That's as far as it'll go. But I would also expect if you want to get AtGames stuff, maybe try to get it now before it goes up. And now it's not going to be as drastic as the other ones, but it is going to go up. And it's funny because we're going in that direction right now. Somebody said here in the chat, Katsujinkin 10, there's a shortage of wood, there's a shortage of computer chips, shipping is delayed everywhere. Yeah, there's global factors that are... Ryan, Michael, do you think this will affect Killer Instinct? 100%. Killer Instinct, I think that we're looking at third quarter, if we're lucky, and I definitely think Killer Instinct is going to be more expensive. Expect Killer Instinct to be $4.99, maybe more. Yikes. I know. Brad speaks the truth. What did I miss? ALP is already a superior machine. Tough sale for 1UP Pinball. I don't have my ALP yet. Hopefully, first or second week of May, I'll have my ALP. Then I can give you more of a value proposition comparison. I'm not Cool Toy. I'll tell you which one I like more. Maybe. But the point that he brought up is, on top of these products going up, there's real reasons right now. Like, I'm glad I bought a PlayStation 5. Yeah, me too. I'm also glad I bought a new gaming PC instead of going all in. $4.99 Canadian. No, Mark L., I'm sorry. $4.99 will be the new standard price for Arcade1UP going forward for the new cabs. That's what we're kind of the understanding. $4.99 US. Yeah. And then in Canada, right now, we're at $5.99. $5.99 is our $3.99 price point. So I think we're going to be looking at $7.50 for our cabs going forward, which is nuts, but yikes. Jason Michelle, yes, with these price increases, Arcade1UP, we need better buttons and joysticks. Let's put a pin in that because we're going to come back to that later. So her. Yeah, and listen, there's always going to be that conversation. We have this every time Skynet or Dragon's Lair in the new CoinOps X V5 for free. Every time I remember talking about like a Nintendo, and I'm sorry for clicking my pen, guys. I have anxiety issues, so sometimes I do stuff like that. Yo, Pitbull, what's happening? So every time I talked about the Nintendo Classic or the... Oh, yeah, I'm going to pull everything off my table here, trying to get this. There we go. No, it's not going to come over. The Super Nintendo Classic, for example. People always said, oh, why are you complaining? You can't get one. Just get a Raspberry Pi. And that's cool. I have a Raspberry Pi. Love it. I have no issue with that. But sometimes you want the other stuff too. So, different things for different folks. Everybody likes different things, right? Anyways, so we talked about it a little bit in the comment there. Why is this stuff happening? Well, there's usual price increases. I mean, Arcade1UP, every generation have kind of raised the price a little bit. I mean, between the first cabs and the next ones, everything goes up. Comforts Michael B. Yeah, and Carl, you brought up a good fact. I just sold 5 cabinets, something I never thought I would do. Ever, ever, ever. But I sold 5 cabinets to make room and consolidate with the Legacy cab. Richard Lamb, how's it going? So how you think Killer Instinct could be $5.99 for that price? Better have Hap or Samwa sticks and buttons. Although arcade pricing is going up, the merch pricing is only getting better. 10% off, baby. That's right. Hey everyone, P-Dubs is here in the chat, so you can get your own Super Game Room Dudes merchandise. I'm not going to do the big spiel, but head on over to Nostalgia's Teespring store, use SG... Super Game Room Dudes. SGRD. I gotta do the same thing Nostalgia does. SGRD coupon code for 10% off, and you can get your very own merch. Set my salary. So, inflation comes up, and Arcade1UP kind of puts their stuff up a little bit each time, so we were going to get regular inflation probably anyways, but then, I mean, everything went nuts. The world is in chaos right now. Like, plywood. Plywood went from, you could get a sheet of plywood for like $36 Canadian. It's now $95 Canadian. I saw a funny meme I meant to send my dad earlier. Everybody remembers those Donald Trump hats, Make America Great Again. There was one of those red hats that said, Make plywood cheap again. Good night, Meatball Saucy. Thank you so much for jumping in. I'm going to catch you in this pinball tournament, I swear. I'm going to try anyways. So, make plywood cheap again. And yeah, wood has gone through the roof. We talked about the legacy cabs, and it seems like in some ways they've seemed to have cut some of the wood out, and maybe that's a cost-cutting measure. I don't know. The other thing, too, is, I mean, John D. has mentioned this in other conversations that he had. Right now, it's really hard to get LCD screens. LCD screen expenses have gone up. That's why, with the Dragon's Lair cab, instead of just throwing that in there, they actually considered the bring your own screen option or bring your own phone option, just because of the cost and how much that would have raised the cost for the Dragon's Lair cabinet. Then we have the chip shortage. I have a new gaming PC next to me. I bought a store-bought unit because graphics cards are almost impossible to get. You can't buy a graphics card for whatever reason. Like, no idea. Oh, Kamala, Arcade1UP also making a 32-inch version of pinball with better parts? I don't think so, brother. I think Arcade1UP is just going to be charging more for this stuff going forward. Also, Kamala, we need to talk about P-Dub's Retro Randoms new channel. We'll connect afterwards. I'll get Nostalgia to give us a soft, warm intro, because I want to talk to you about that. Oh, Hunter Killer, you are right behind me in the UAG tourney. I only played 3 games of Jaws before this started, but all right, let's do it. No, Killer Instinct didn't go live for pre-orders. I think they're going to wait till... That's a third quarter thing, so expect that in the fall, and I don't think orders will go out, any pre-orders will go out until they're closer to knowing for sure they're going to be able to meet that timeline. So don't expect those pre-orders anytime soon. I think you're looking at June, July, or August before you can put it a pre-order for it. LCD costs, chip shorting, wood, it's gone nuts. But the biggest one I heard about was... Nostalgia has me slaving away on t-shirts. I'm not surprised, Kamala. The biggest one that people are missing out on is shipping. I don't know if I should say this, but like the Brick went above and beyond to get our At Games Legends pinball tables in there. Like, you have no idea. Like, from what I was told, usual shipping to get like a container in would be something like $1,500. That jumped up to $10,000 to get a container in, something like that. It's nuts. Like, we're talking about a 700 time increase on shipping. Like, it's almost impossible to get stuff in here at a reasonable price. So there were, jumps in the shipping. So that's why these prices are going up. It's not licensing, it's not profit margin. The reality is just, man, everything's more expensive. And I'm sure a lot of these arcade companies are actually taking a hit right now trying to keep their prices competitive and what they told us originally. I think those prices are going to jump right up. So that's kind of what's coming. There was something else I wanted to mention to you guys too. Yeah, I do want to get the Analog Duo. That is such a cool thing. Like, I think I told the story a while ago. Like, when I started collecting retro games, like, you know, naive, wide-eyed Mike, I would walk out every single day and every Sunday and go to every flea market, and I would take out $200 Canadian. I would never spend more than like $10, $15, but I took out the $200 Canadian every single day in the hopes that one day I would randomly come across a Turbo Duo. I never did. I eventually did find one. I went to game store in Toronto, and I forget now, but it's a big game store right in Toronto. I'll try to think about it. And I bought one there, and I also bought one on eBay. I had 2 Turbo Duos at one point. I can't remember the name of the store. It's gonna kill me. If anybody's from Toronto, you probably know what I'm talking about. Freight is the biggest killer. Like, it's nuts. What else did I want to mention on the... Oh, I'm completely lost. Zohar says they can double or triple the price. He's still buying another Pac-Man. I just got a Pac-Man today. It's always tough because me and my wife are both working from home, and my wife doesn't really drive all that much. So usually if she's got to run to work, I'll drive her. So today was one of the days she wanted to pop into her office and check out her work. And, I was trying to convince her to drive herself because I knew there was an Arcade1UP being delivered today. Sure enough, luckily, while I was sitting at the breakfast table at 8:30, the doorbell rings and there was my Arcade1UP. So problem solved, and she got into work no problem. No official game packs coming from MVSX. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Neo Geo, or we didn't talk about II Arcade. So, really quickly, price increases for II Arcade? I don't know. I think that if II Arcade changes their design and that tempered glass becomes a regular piece of the cabinets going forward, maybe we'll see a price increase. But I haven't talked to Zhang. P-Dubs hasn't told me anything about talking to Zhang either. Yes, I got the best Pac-Man today. That new Pac-Man is pretty sweet. I will give you guys a little heads up. The only thing I don't really like about it is for some reason they went with a yellow light in the marquee. Instead of daylight, like every other marquee from Arcade1UP has, it's got this yellow light in it, and it kind of makes the marquee look really yellow. It's like looking through a white light that's, in a place where people smoke. Hi folks, congrats on the Legacy Pac-Man. Do you have Miss Pac-Man too? I sure do, Kangzarus. And everybody gives me a hard time about it because they're like, that's a lot of real estate for 2 Pac-Mans, but I love Pac-Man. Daryl Lanson, what was your video store called? I love my Marvel vs. Capcom. Excellent. We got to connect. Do I ever think II Arcade will make a sit-down racing cab? That would be amazing. No. Do I think that... Let me temper expectations. I think II Arcade are going to focus more on software for the next little while. I don't think hardware is even in the realm of possibility right now, but I could be wrong. I think AtGames, like I mentioned, was it last week that we did this? I think AtGames could possibly make a shooting cab and a driving cab. If not, we're at least going to get... peripherals that I think that'll allow us to do that stuff. Oh, Scott, get it. We can play X-Men vs. Street Fighter together, brother. He has every Arcade1UP. Who has every Arcade1UP? I have not everyone. I don't have Buck Hunter. I never got Space Invaders. I almost did a little while ago. I don't have everyone. I want a cabaret version of Pac-Man to replace my Gen 1. Yeah, that would be interesting. I want an AtGames cocktail table. I want that too, and I'm trying to convince AtGames to do it. We'll see. Anyway, so I can't remember what I was going to talk about. That happens sometimes. This is why you got to write stuff down. See, no. Okay, so let's go on to this. Do you have Star Wars, Michael? I have the Star Wars Arcade 1-Up, and I also have Star Wars Pinball, yes. I just want AtGames LCD Pixelcade Marquee. Oh yeah, they are my arcade foundations. And where they are in my arcade, they're like the pillars, because they're the two first arcades right next to the wall and the big arcade going back. Okay, so I've talked about these price increases, and Mr. Dude, thank you very much. Give me that AtGames racing cap. I know, that would be wicked, right? Thank you very much, Mr. Dude, for jumping in. Install trackball on printer. That printer's going to move eventually. Yeah, again, we're seeing these increases everywhere. Price of screens went through the roof. We have the Pixelcade finally available here in Canada too now from the Brick. I think it's like $279. I need to go back and check the price on that. Playing House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcast today. I finally see what is the fuss. Yeah, it is. I also have I have House of the Dead 2 and 3 now on the Wii. But growing up, I had House of the Dead 3 on Xbox, and that was like my go-to Xbox game going on. I don't have Rampage or anything after NBA Jam except Big Buck. Alan, Ageless Arcades, had to go with the wife to Lowe's. Completely understandable, man. Sometimes you just got to go with your wife. Make the tables too short. I'll give you guys spoiler and an update too. I'm coming around a little bit on the legacy cabs. I'm not saying I'm all in. They're the greatest thing ever. There's no mistakes, but I had fun, a lot of fun on my stream the other night, playing the Midway Legacy cab. I was playing some of my Street Fighter today. I'm starting to like it a little bit more and more. I knew when I put more time into it, I would like it. Still mistakes, but, you know, I can kind of move over that. So, moving in the right direction towards my feelings on the legacy cabinets. All right, so how much would you spend? Let's talk about that. So, I think I've seen so many people in the comments already say $4.99 for an Arcade 1-Up cabinet. Michael B., what happened to the riser on your ALU? I moved my AtGames Legends Ultimate, and I just haven't put the riser back on it. That's it. Also, I don't have one of my nice Arcade 1-Up stools up here, because this is also my cat room, and the cats would absolutely shred the stool cover in about 15 seconds. Oh yeah, I mean, like, the benefits of the legacy cabs with those 12 games. Okay, so everybody's saying $4.99 tops. 600 Canadian max for a cab. And I know, that's where we're to right now, Mark. But, you know, I mean, if it goes up to $4.99, I mean, geez, with the shipping and conversion, we're probably looking at $700 to $749. I mean, I'm terrified. I'm terrified because, like, it's hard enough justifying to my wife. You know, I bought 3 legacy cabinets, even though I sold other ones that paid for it. The early reviews on the Atari Pong table are out, and it's a winner. When can we expect to pre-order the Pong table in Canada, Michael B? Stephen C., you came to the right place. The pre-order should be sometime this week through the Brick with a June-July delivery date, and your price point is $7.99 Canadian. So thank you very much for the super chat, Stephen C., and I'm so glad I could actually help you with that. I would buy a Double Dragon 1-Up, absolutely. $5.49, absolute ceiling. So Arcade 1-Up, $5.49, that's what you're saying. Your average gamer, $2.50. So price has to range from $3.99 and $4.99. $600 for a special edition. That's a good point. Like Dragon's Lair, if they're going to do it right, add the extra screen, something else, make the controls better, $600, sure. I mean, that's $850, $900 Canadian, I don't know. I mean, like I was saying, I have a hard enough time explaining to my wife that these cabinets are $600 now, Canadian. I mean, some drastic increases, of course, with some minor improvements as well. Like, we went from $529 for the cabinet and the riser to $579, which eventually became $599 for the cabinet, riser, and a lit marquee. So if they go up, I know my wife just walked by. Lara, if Arcade1UP cabinets went to regular price $749, would you be really mad at me for buying them?
What do you think?
She says yes. She would be very mad. Drink beer and playing the Pong table now. Techno Billy, I missed a super chat from you the other night in my midway stream. I am so sorry, brother. I went back and found it afterwards, and I super apologize. I was looking to connect with you, try to answer your question. If you remember what you asked me, can you ask me again? Did I get Frogger yet? No, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I might take a run out to the brick, but we'll see. Let's not talk about that. So I'm seeing most people saying, you know what, $4.99 is pushing it, $600 for a special one, but a lot of people are already kind of, we got full houses. So Shotgun Sean, I'll buy a Toe Jam Neural Cab for $7.99. At $650, you can invest in a new console. I know, right? Those price points are starting to close up there. I get that there's real reasons, but I wasn't drinking that night, but definitely don't remember. Watch your back, Michael B. She's going to hit you. I got a feeling it's going to be very, very worse. Awesome news about Pong in Canada. Any further word on the Outrun stand-up coming to Canada? I'm going to deliver some bad news now, and I'm very sorry. So there was an outside chance, but from what I understand is basically the only way we can get Outrun here was there's no more being made. Arcade1UP aren't making any more, at least not right now. So there's no plans to make any more. So none of the Canadian retailers can order any. So in order for them to get a stand-up or Outrun, they would have to buy from another retailer that already has it. So your cost is going to massively jump up. So you're talking about like probably a $1,100 cap. And if they get any more, we're looking at 3 months from now before any kind of pre-orders go up. So it doesn't look good. That's what I'm hearing right now. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see for what happens in the next 3 months. And if we get it, we get it. What I'm highly considering doing is getting Outrun and just drawing out plans and working with a friend of mine that has a giant table saw and, buying my own MDF and building my own specific Outrun stand-up riser. That's what I'm thinking about doing. But I hate, like I said, with the legacy cabinets, I hate having to buy something brand new and then modify it to enjoy it. So we'll see. We'll see. So that's what I'm hearing. Toyshock, buy the Frogger, Mike. You will love it. I know Sling Spade. I'm really, really, really thinking about it. I got to go back, and if it's dropped on that clearance price anymore, I may not be able to hold myself back. We'll see. Nicky Z up to 25 cabs yet. No, I don't think they really have control on 100%. 100%. Kong Zavros, I did see your comment. I don't know if I'll ever mod a cabinet. I am, like, you have to know me. I'm a stock guy. Like, I have 2 NES Classics and 2 Super Nintendo Classics just because I didn't want to mod the first one. I wanted to keep it stock. So I modded the second one. And newsflash, I have my modded ones in a closet I never use. I just use the stock ones. I don't know. I'm a stock guy. I can't help it. I have an AtGames Legends Ultimate, and that's where I play anything that I can't currently play on my Arcade1UP cabinets. And anything else, I have iArcade. Modding Mike would be fun. I've done, like, control mods. Like, control, like I talked about it. Glenn sent me some stuff, so I did the trackball for Centipede, which made that amazing, and I also did the flight yoke mod, but that's kind of as much as I went. 26 cabinets. What do I have? I had more, but I have... I don't know. I've got 3 pinballs and 12 cabinets? So 15. I'm at 15 now. I was more. I feel you on the stock. I think it's the accessibility. Yep. Okay, so we talked about Toyshock, the jump to $4.99 and then $7.99 Canadian. I think the price increase will be easier to take if they add more games per cab. Software prices shouldn't be increasing. That's a great point, Steve, and thank you so much for the super chat. Just want to get back to the Toyshock price. The Toyshock price increases, especially the Canadian price, certainly seems a lot easier to digest. I have Glenn's yoke. No need to send me a yoke. The Toyshock price is certainly a lot easier to digest, knowing the giant increase in Arcade1UP prices. Like Toyshock, from everything I've seen, is a great product and coming in at a value price, and it's a competitive price, but still, you're getting that value. And I'm very excited to get a Toyshock. And I think, knowing that everything else is going up, they still come in below competition. They still have a competitive advantage. So I still have hope for Toyshock, with knowing with everything else going up. Hopefully they don't have to increase their prices too much more either. And AtGames, like I said, reasonable price increases. But say, for example, Arcade1UP are, like it is confirmed, $200 extra for pinball, with no changes, no bigger screens, and also $100 extra for cabinets. We're going to go back to this. Someone asked earlier, what would get you to pick up these cabinets? What would get you to digest this price? A limited edition Pizza Nova cab. So, let's see. I'm out of my NES and SNES Classic, left my Mini Genesis. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I didn't buy a second TurboGrafx Classic, and I didn't buy a second Sega Genesis Classic. Dominic Smith, that's funny about price stuff out of the market. I kind of jumped a little bit ahead, but let's see. Carl L., have a good night, brother. I wish the Toy Shop had haptic feedback. I do too. So, a lot of people are saying game selection. I saw that in the chat earlier too. Steve Victoria, how are you? More games and online. So the Wi-Fi option, I agree. I don't know how much more expensive it is. Hopefully it hasn't raised in price like everything else. But knowing that Wi-Fi option's there, even if the games aren't Wi-Fi capable, but I just want a deluxe ALP and Gamer Pro. I don't know about the Gamer Pro, but I think there's a very good possibility we might get a deluxe AtGames Legends Pinball. And Polo, I meant to talk about that last week when we were talking about what was coming up. Gross Gaming says better quality. That's another option that they can do. Maybe they could... thanks, Michael B. Always there for us. Another option that they could do is maybe if they're going to raise their prices because they've got no control, maybe they can find cost savings and give us better controls. Maybe improve the quality of the buttons and sticks they're using. They don't necessarily need to go all the way with HAP, Samwa, or what's the other one? The IL fighting sticks, I think it is, everybody likes to put in for Mortal Kombat. They don't need to do that, but they can do a very good job of making sure that the controls are good. The other thing, too, is they can really improve their quality control. Zero Hero just mentioned it. I love Arcade1UP, but like I said during P-Dub's show last night, I have a doubt on whether or not these cabinets, the new legacy ones, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, were really stress tested. Because, there's that issue with the line of sight for people that are of a certain height. And, there's also that deck issue. So, that's one thing. They could improve, not so much because they're doing an excellent job bringing out the beta testers, hiring Justin Wong. Like, they're doing a great job on the software and game side, and it shows because the games on those legacy cabinets are fantastic. But the actual stress testing and product testing, and I get it too, because this is something new for them, because they had that cookie cutter shape, so they're not used to going with a new format. So, I get it. But making sure that we won't have issues like that would go a long way. Like adding to people's confidence in your product. I don't know what else they can do. For me, the biggest one is Wi-Fi. So we know if there's ever any kind of issue or some kind of update or something they can do for us, it can just be done. Even if the game doesn't necessarily have Wi-Fi, if they can add in leaderboards or just make sure we have updates available, Wi-Fi would be a good one. I would rather choose my sticks and not pay. Well, yeah, some people are like that too. Yeah, Alfred Berger brings up an excellent point. Cool Toy, and huge props to Cool Toy. He's on top of this stuff all the time. $29 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stools, and I love them. Are you going to sell your old cabinets now that you have Legacy? I already did, Sam Newsman, and it killed me, but the one good thing about it was I sold 80% of them to this guy that I met, Mike Dalton, and he's friends with another guy I'm friends with, Chris Kelly. We've connected. He's become a really good friend, and I look forward to talking to him. So, he got all my cabinets, and it's developed this cool friendship. Now I have my new Legacy cabinets, plus I know that my old cabinets are gone to a good place and being enjoyed by someone who will appreciate them. Let us pick what we want in the cabinet so we don't have to do the work. So you kind of want Zero Hero wants Arcade1UP like Subway. Especially order your cabinets. Ugh. Marvel Superhero Special Edition was actually only $400, not $500. $400. Quality control were better, and they did not have to ship out replacement parts as often. It would also reduce costs for them. Hobby Hands, thank you very much for the super chat. I gotta ask the question on that, because sometimes I like, everybody says that. I mean, like, the stuff that's going out there, are they bleeding money? But I gotta think it's actually cheaper for them to send that stuff out than it is for them to put some kind of more stringent quality control possibility in there. Like, everybody's seen the movie Fight Club, right? So the amazing part where he talks about his job as working for like a major car company, where he deals with vehicle accidents in which families die, and he basically has to figure out a recall compared against the cost of all the settlements for the accidents that are out there. And it's only at a point where the cost of the recall will be more expensive than the cost of all the settlements that they will actually do the recall. So that's the analogy I'll use for that one. I still don't think that all the parts they've sent out to do the replacements is more expensive than putting that kind of quality control in place at the factories. Zero Hero had the best idea. Arcade1UP should beef up their online store and do direct to consumer. This is the answer. Possibly. I think they've done that, but I think there's more guaranteed money in dealing directly with retailers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, rule number 1, you don't talk about Fight Club. Yeah, you gotta use Fight Club analogies whenever you can. I used to have a Fight Club standee, like movie poster standee. I wish I still knew about that. So another thing I want to talk about, and this is a weird one, but if you've been playing video games as long as I have, there's something funny about this. Prices have increased on these cabinets, but we as video game consumers, we're not really used to price increases, realistically. If you look at, here's a question: does Arcade1UP run the risk of losing the masses by increasing the prices? That's what we're getting into here, Jamie. Great minds. So, us as video game consumers, we're not really used to prices changing. Like, realistically, if you look at it, when the prices went here in Canada, they've jumped up from, in the last 5-6 years, they jumped from $59.99 because of the Canadian dollar. They went up when the PlayStation 4 came up to $69. And now that the PlayStation 5's up, the price is raised up to $79. So with tax, we're looking at games of $90 here in Canada. But even so, those prices that have gone up a little bit have been frustrating, turned some people off. But realistically, if you look at the price of video games from when we were kids, I mean, it was $99 Canadian to buy Street Fighter 2 when it first came out for the Super Nintendo. So, you know what? There seems to be an elasticity for the demand of video games. We're not the kind of people that we like our prices going crazy. Even consoles, new consoles come out every 5-6 years. So that $10 price increase is separated by, half a decade or almost more. So now that these Arcade1Ups have come out and we're only in year 3 and there's already going to be a big price increase, we as gamers, we have a hard time digesting that because we're not used to price increases that drastically. So the question is, do you guys think that this will affect any of the major arcade companies? If they have to raise their prices because of the pandemic, is the demand for their product inelastic? Or is it elastic and... I might have said that backwards. Inelastic, the fact that no matter what the price is, the demand will remain the same, or is it elastic where this could be completely backwards? It's been a while since I've done economics. Or is it elastic where the price increases? I definitely said that wrong. But you know what I mean, basically. If the price increases, demand is going to go down. What's going to happen? What do you guys think is going to happen? Yeah, Scott Gray makes a really good point too, and Canada is no different. I mean, the economy is not doing so well here. People have lost their jobs. A lot of small businesses just didn't survive the pandemic. So price increases right now when people's financial stability is not so good, that's another tough one, because that's an economic factor outside that we have to consider as well. Demand will go down. We're paying more already. Yes, the increase would keep the random person walking through the store. Brad O'Connell says it won't matter. People will buy anyways. So maybe the hardcores. Inelastic demand. Demand will hold, Conti says. So we've got 2 with inelastic demand. Pair of pliers to the back of a Super Famicom cartridge to make 2 notches to make it work on Super Nintendo. Any other way to hook me up? I'm missing out on that. We think they'll keep increasing the price until it affects the number of cabinets shifted, then the price will stay there. 1UP will increase the prices and make 0 changes in quality. That's not true. They're already working on it. I can tell you the beta testers, they do good work, and they're trying really hard to make sure that the games are working the way they should. If a competitor offers or don't increase, they will lose market share. Hardcore fans will, it matters little. Price hikes will kill the smaller companies because they lack the buying power to remain competitive. I hate being negative, but Toyshock is at risk. Maybe. I mean, like, I have a lot of faith in Toyshock. I mean, they took a couple hits because they got out there first. They developed the name, but then it got tough. Stringer Films brings up a good point too. I want to know what Walmart has to say about it. And here is follow the money. Oh wait, they would just print it in-house, but the rest of the world is like, that's monopoly money. Stringer Films brings up a really good point. Walmart will sell them for 75 cents. Tim Barbarian, that's funny. But, yeah, so going back to what Stringer, Techno Billy said, like to buy. Thank you for the super chat again. And Stringer Film said this, I want to know what Walmart has to say about it. That's a very good point. Because Arcade1Up's model is very much, the retailers are the ones buying the cabinets from them. So it all depends on what that price point is that the companies will buy from them. They will price out of Walmart's clientele. Well, here's the thing about that. And Chris Zeke says FOMO will be a determining factor too. FOMO is always a factor. That's why I'm thinking about going to the brick and getting Frogger tomorrow, Chris. Worst case scenario, I'll just sell it, right? So they will price themselves out of Walmart's clientele. Here's the key thing about that. They just announced, and they've always been smart with Walmart, that they're going to remain at a competitive level and keep offering $2.99 cabinets. Ones without risers, ones without lit marquees. And I think that's going to be the hook to keep them in Walmart, even if their other cabinets go up. Like we've seen, I mean, like Outrun, Buck Hunter, they're not cheap compared to the other cabinets. In the US, it's not so bad because I think the most you guys had to pay was about $500. But here in Canada, I mean, like, Outrun $750, Buck Hunter now is $7.99 just for a cabinet. So it's tough. Conti says, I think Walmart will say over $600 is a no-go. Possible. Priced out the II arcade yesterday. It was over $1,000 with tax and shipping. That is steep. But, Nikki, II Arcade is now available, or is soon going to be available through Walmart. So if you want to save your money on shipping, Walmart. Keep an eye on Walmart. I wish we got some of the deals here in Canada that Walmart is doing in the States. But, yeah, look, that's not an Arcade1UP thing. That is completely, out of the... Some great sales going on right now. $350 X-Men vs. Street Fighter, an $8 or $9 Gamer Mini. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. So a lot of people are saying, what are you talking about with these price increases? That's what I wanted to talk about earlier. What are you talking about with these price increases? There's sales going around everywhere. Like, we just had the $49 Galaga Countercade. We just had the $100 Legends Gamer Pro. We just had the $89 Legends Gamer Mini. But Outrun is almost 600. The stand-up Outrun is almost 600 in the States, right? But the thing is, these price increases don't affect stock that's already out there, that's already in the storefronts. They're going to sell that off. That's old stock. It's only new stock we're talking about. Anything that's coming out. The only prices that are dropping is on stuff that's out there that might not be moving as much. Prices. I don't think, Brad O'Connell, you'll see prices dropping right across the board. There's no way, because the component prices are going up. If the prices drop and then the cost of building this and putting these together go up, I mean, obviously these companies are dead. They're dead in the water. So the whole arcade craze is over if that's the case. That humans will all be talking to each other and playing games in VR and holograms by 2030. I hope so. I'm really hoping to finally get in on the whole VR portal here in the next little while. Like, I want to try pinball in VR. There's a lot of other things. So I bet retailers will purchase less. That actually, Stringer Films, that actually might help with what Arcade1UP is trying to do in the first place, which it's a weird model because they don't want their cabinets, like David McIntosh talked about it. They have a, don't forget, Newfoundland is Canada. Well, Newfoundland is part of Canada. It's not all of Canada. I bet retailers will purchase less. So it's a bit of a backwards model, but David McIntosh mentioned Arcade1UP has a value point that they think their cabinets are worth, and when Walmart does these crazy clearance sales, like we're seeing NBA Jam selling right now for $200, it affects the credibility of Arcade1UP's pricing, and they want to make sure that that's not their visual darts. Quest 2 is awesome. Yes, that's what I'm currently looking at getting. I'm really in on it. I went over to my parents this weekend, and my brother was telling me all about it. And I was like, I might be getting one. And he was so upset because they are raising prices. Yes, everybody is going to raise prices. For anybody that's coming in late, you're looking at Toyshock is possibly going from $3.99 to $4.99 in the US. Introductory price looks to be about $7.99 Canadian. AtGames, we're probably looking at a $50 to $100 increase. That's not confirmed by any means. Arcade1UP, Cool Toys, talked about it. The regular cabs are going to be $100 more, so X-Men is going to be $4.99. Killer Instinct is going to be $4.99. And the pinball tees of $7.99, that might just be a... I don't know what the right term for it is. That might just be a posting... placeholder posting, but from the information we're getting from the Brick here in Canada, it seems to be pretty accurate. There is going to be a significant price point increase on Arcade1UP pinball cabinets here in Canada once the current stock is sold out. Oh, that's crazy, Technobilly. I got almost 200 people here. Why no big buck, Michael B? Does it not hold up? We'll come back to that. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. That's crazy. There's 200 people here. Prices will drop on some of this stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Prices will drop on stuff that doesn't do well, like Frogger. The Galaga countercades that all came out were reskinned Froggers. They couldn't move the Frogger countercades, so they had to figure out a way. Marvel vs. Capcom price went down. X-Men vs. Street Fighter price went down. Did Marvel vs. Capcom price go down as well, Brad? Oh, thank you so much, Your Average Gamer. And remind me, I still have to do a video for you for intro if you still want it, brother. Yes, Nicky Z, I said the exact same thing earlier. Glad I bought all my 3 pinballs already. I just want to mod my TMNT to 4-player and just call it. Now, Golden Tee Online. But I don't think any, like, you also got to remember, and thank you so much, Jason Flanders, for telling people to do that. No one is raising the prices. This is not a greed thing. They're raising the price because they have to. Thank you, Stringer Films. Don't get mad at these companies. There's a reality to doing business right now in the pandemic that prices went up like crazy. Why are they releasing the old MK directly to their store? I don't know, Zohar. I don't know if that version of MK was available a lot in the US, but that's the version we had here in Canada. The exact one that they're putting up limited quantities up on their website. I think that's leftover stock they had from Canada. That's my guess. And why they're releasing it directly on the store? Because it's the easiest way for them to move it out without sending it out to a retailer. And the retailer's already sold them at a discounted price, so it might be a bit hard to get a retailer to pick them up. Miss Pac-Man is going down. Miss Pac-Man, funny enough, Todd, that you mentioned that, Miss Pac-Man, the actual Miss Pac-Man cabinet, is unavailable here in Canada. You cannot buy one. There's only... you can get it through London Drugs, and the only other place to get it was my friend earlier who I mentioned, Mike Dalton. He actually just got one from The Brick, but it wasn't on their website. He had to call and work to get one shipped in from a different store. Brad O'Connell, thank you so much for saying that, brother. Which one? Artwork. Nope, that's one on high demand. Don't see that one happening, Brad. Everything is going up. It's how the world is now. I know. New House of the Dead, I think it's more possible. For a House of the Dead cab? Oh, I would love it. Sling Spade, alright, you sold me. I'm going to go buy Frogger tomorrow. Alright, I'm going to go get Frogger. I know it doesn't match the arcade. I know the music's not right. I know it has a screen filter. But I really like Time Pilot. This is the worst, because every time I do these shows, I end up saying I'm going to go buy a cab. But we'll see. If they still have a Frogger in store, it's still on sale, I might get Frogger tomorrow. Yeah, Alan, I love my Mrs. Pac-Man. Now, but at the same time, right now, because I just went and bought the... I got the Pac-Man Legacy Edition. Now the only game on Miss Pac-Man that's not on another cabinet in my house is Miss Pac-Man. So it's a cabinet for one game. But man, it's a good-looking cabinet. Oh, Alan's Ageless Arcades. Good night, my friend. Don't buy Frogger, Zohar says. I know, Zohar. I know. I can't help myself sometimes, brother. But Steve Victoria says Frogger's a great cab. And Time Pilot. Man, Time Pilot is a lot of fun. You can play it at your AtGames Legends Ultimate. Everybody always says that to me. They're like, you can just play it on your AtGames Legends Ultimate. I love the AtGames Legends Ultimate, but I don't like playing vertical games on the AtGames Legends Ultimate. It's not too bad, but you get that giant screen, and then maybe I'll end up getting the Legends Legends mini cab, and where I can turn it vertical, I'll have more fun playing vertical games on the Legends ecosystem. Sling Spade, thank you so much. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. You don't have to do that, man. I really appreciate it. Prices are going up, but the quality is horrible. I wouldn't say that. Would you get your PCB flash to include Miss Pac-Man or no? I'd have to think about that, Scott. I'm a real stock guy, so, I like to keep everything the way it is. It's to my detriment sometimes, I know, but I can't help it. Prices are going up. The quality is horrible. Now, I've been pretty hard on the quality of the Legacy cabinets, some of the actual physical issues with them, but I gotta tell you, the games play fantastic. I really like the upgrading quality for the screen, the speakers. There's so much to like about the Legacy cabinets. Like, if you're a kid and height is not an issue, and you don't have big ham hands where you need to hold the joysticks sideways like that, that might be the perfect cabinet for you. Do you think we will get the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, or Streets of Rage on the IR Arcade? I think there's a lot of people trying. I'm going to be honest with you. They're suggesting to Jong to go out and get it. Michael B., the Frogger cabinet looks good and Time Pilot rocks. I love mine. listen, that's the other thing too. We're never going to get a Frogger cabinet with correct art or correct marquee because, and it has nothing to do with, I'm going to be honest with you, I know it has nothing to do with Arcade1Up. I feel bad for Arcade1Up in this situation because they had no choice. It's Konami. Konami were the ones that said, we want this art. If you look at every release of Frogger, they never do the original art. They want the new art. They want to try to sell it. They didn't understand what Arcade1Up was, obviously, because if they had gone with the original art and, everybody went out of their way to get the right music, that cabinet would have sold so well. And I think Arcade1Up wanted to do it. It was Konami that put the kibosh on it. They were too busy trying to make pachinko machines anyways, right? The Legacy, when you're sitting on a stool, is fine. It's perfect. Screen looks good. No problem. The only issue then you have is your hands, and if the hands, I'm trying to learn to play with my hand above the side, and instead of, my wrist leaning on the control panel, I'm trying to play above a little bit. I raised the CP on the Legacy cabinet. It's great now. A lot of people are saying that, and that's a pretty easy fix, too. Katsujiken 10, I know. But it's not just the marquee, though. I mean, it's the side art, too. They changed a lot. Everybody's saying they love Frogger, though. Totally respect you enjoying the cabs for what they are. If you don't need to mod, it's a great cab. The 8-ball never lies. Zohar, how hard would it be for you to get an original arcade Mortal Kombat cabinet? And then, with how much of a fan you are, I'm fascinated with the fact that you've never tried to find one before. Maybe California is a different market. I've got some friends. I'm not as close with them anymore. If I could try to ask around to see if I can do something to help. You're in California, right, Zohar? We'll talk more about this. I know some people, and maybe I can help out. Dan here in St. Louis. Hey, Dan, how's it going? Try wine glass grip on the Legacy cabinet to stop that. I don't know what a wine glass grip is. I still play Frogger mostly on my 2600. I love Frogger on the 2600. 60-in-1 vertical mod. Frogger's perfect. I know. I don't mod. I can't help it. You can buy Frogger on Walmart for $3.99 right now. Yes, and here in Canada, I can go to the Brick, and it was $5.38 the other day with one Comforts, Michael B. Oh, Polo, thank you very much. Yeah, I know. Brad, I listen, I get it. Art is all wrong. I absolutely went nuts when I saw Frogger, what they were doing with Frogger. It's so frustrating. But I think there's also something else with that, too. If I'm not mistaken, the original Frogger arcade cabinet was tied in with Sega, too, so maybe someone else owns the original art. I don't know. I should look it up, but I know Konami 100% were like, nope, everything with Frogger, we want this new artwork with. Yes, Zohar, you never have to do Super Chats here, brother. I'm just happy that you're here at the chat. Also, like I said, I will see what I can do. I got some connection in California. I'll see what I can do to see if I can hook you up. Yeah, Lewis, thank you so much for being here, Lewis. And Lewis is right. Konami doesn't have the rights to the original music in the arcade. That's why the music is different on the Arcade1Up version. I thought that. But Lewis, do you know if Konami also doesn't have the rights to the original artwork? Because there's something about that, didn't Frogger come out on a Sega cab, or there's some kind of, yes, Sega partnership, I guess, something like that. And there's some other reason for the artwork, too. Konami paid money and got new artwork and new branding for Frogger that they want to connect with Frogger. It might just be that. But I think there's also some possibility that they don't own the original artwork on the cabinet either. Sega. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Sega had something to do with it. So I would not doubt that there was something involved with that artwork too. But that's just a guess. So yeah, guys, I think we covered just about everything. I wish I knew someone to mod my Golden T1-Up and add backspin and newer courses. The running frog art is so cool. The original art, yeah, and the original wood grain, yeah. push your YouTube weight around, Michael. I don't do that. I'm like incredibly awkward too. Like I've sent some emails out to people. Like I'm the worst. I'm lucky I've had the same job I've had for the last 11 years because I hate trying to sell myself. It's like my least favorite thing to do in the world because I'm really awkward about it. So I hate doing cover letters to resumes. Like it takes me forever. And, lately I've been reaching out to companies to see if there's a possibility we could work together. And it's so uncomfortable. I hate trying to sell myself. But it is what it is. Like, yeah, it's so uncomfortable. So I would not push my YouTube weight around. Buck Hunter. So I played Buck Hunter at, again, when I went to sell the cabs. Kid Shirokin, Jim, my friend, how are you? Long time, brother. So when I went to Mike Dalton's house, sold him four of my cabs. He actually had Sit Down Outrun there, and he also had Buck Hunter, Arcade1UP. So I got to play both of them. I loved Outrun. I'm going to admit, even though it was the sit down, it was a little bit small, I really had a good time in Outrun. And I'm a big dude, and I still found it pretty comfortable. I really enjoyed it. So Outrun is still very much on my radar. I played Buck Hunter. It's really cool. But I didn't enjoy it as much, and it gave me, still in the box waiting for me to finish my basement. Yeah. And while I was at Mike's, other people played it. They loved it. Just for me, it wasn't something that really caught me. And I also have no nostalgia for the original Buck Hunter. It was just the idea of being able to play a shooting cab. So I played it. It's cool, but I also realized it just wasn't for me when I played it. It's Kongs R Us a website. Just giving you a hard time. It's good to see you support these guys, and they love you for it. Oh, Your Average Gamer, what cab would melt your socks off if it was announced today? Your Average Gamer, thank you so much for the super chat. What cab would melt my socks off? Absolutely melt my socks off would be two cabs. One would be a WrestleFest as the main cabinet with the exact right roster. Number two would be a G.I. Joe cab, because it's never going to happen. No, I'm going to will it to happen, but it'll never happen. Those are the two cabs that absolutely melt my socks off. Also, you got to throw, every time that's mentioned, you got to throw Donkey Kong into the mix, because it's Donkey Kong. You got to throw it into the mix. That would melt my socks off. And maybe, just for me too, Robotron 2084. I would go ballistic if a Robotron cabinet came out with that artwork. Yes, Mitchell B knows. Love Robotron. It's the industry. You got people watching. Why not, brother? TV spent money on your advice. I know. +1 for WrestleFest. Love WrestleFest. You guys, I don't think we're ever going to get it, at least not accurately, so that would absolutely melt my face off. Like, honestly, John D would deserve a medal if he could get through all those licensing hoops and issues with WrestleFest to get that up. Oh my God. Oh. Adam's Family Pinball would be amazing. Sling Spade says Donkey Kong and Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I haven't played the arcade version of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker very much. Steve Victoria wants to see the 4-player Spider-Man added to X-Men. I think that would be very complicated because Spider-Man's Sega game, right? I would day one buy WrestleFest. Yes, Your Average Gamer, 100%. I think Konami Shooter Cab would be cool. Gradius 2, Salamander, and Gradius 3. Yes, Lewis says the exact same thing. That's kind of what I've heard as well, Lewis. Robotron coming next year, but Smash TV artwork. I've also kind of gotten the impression from Ralph that we might see Narc on that cabinet too for some reason. Stringer Film says Tron. I think a lot of people, if Tron was done right, people would go nuts for Tron. Richard Lamb, I would pay $1,000 for a Q*bert. You and P-dubs, brother. Have I played the Karate Champ Arcade1UP? Well, they never released the Karate Champ, but they released Burger Time, and yeah, it's really good. I never played Karate Champ in the arcades, but I've had a lot of fun on the Burger Time cab playing it. I still prefer Burger Time, obviously, but what is your favorite of your pinball machines? Thanks for chatting with Skylar. Of course, my favorite pinball machine is Attack from Mars right now. I have to be honest. I know some people are pretty negative because Whitewater, some issues right there with flipper leg. It's a little bit harder, but I mean, everything's so good. Like see if, no, my phone's dead. I can't show you, but I almost got grand champion on Medieval Madness last night. I scored, like, I think I was like 600,000 off from being the grand champion. So I have the highest score, but I don't have the grand champion score. And I'm also got the castle champion score because I knocked down 5 castles. I finally got that notice to say that I defeated all the king's enemies or whatever it was. So yeah, I got a huge score in Medieval Madness last night. And even if the other games didn't work, as long as Attack from Mars and Medieval Madness works, I love them. Now, the other cabinets are so close, like I didn't think they would be, but like I can play Spider-Man and Thor and X-Men all day long on my Marvel cabinet. I can also play Empire Strikes Back, New Hope. I even really like the Force Awakens table. It's all great. All those pinball tables are all super fun, really fun to play. Yeah, Attack from Mars is top 5 pinball on most people's list. It's hard. Like, I'm at the point with Medieval Madness that when I lose, it's my fault. But with Attack from Mars, the game's still beating me. I can sell you a WrestleFest and WrestleMania arcade PCB. There's Retro Amusements NL. We'll talk about that, brother. WrestleFest for sure. We'll talk about that. I would buy three more full-size arcades. That would be Top Skater, Fist of the North Star. I didn't know there was a Fist of the North Star arcade cabinet. Shotgun Sean, you were dropping some knowledge on me tonight. Went to another dimension and got the grand champion score in Medieval Madness the other week. I've never done that in Attack from Mars. Attack from Mars, I've capped out at, I think it was like the 4th, something like 5 billion. Finally got news, my AFM. Jeff Walsh, congratulations, man. I hope you love it. The artwork, everything about that table is so good. Well, I mean, they're doing that, but Mango Slice, thank you very much for saying that. They are doing that, but it's mostly more on gameplay and through the beta tester program. In terms of the actual cabinet designs and stuff like that, I think this was just like an oversight. I mean, they, a long time ago, they came up with these cabinets and they came up with designs that would be perfect, and they came up with a process that didn't involve anybody doing like some massive stress testing. Because I know I've talked to people that months ahead of time would have NBA jams in their house and they'd be trying it out. So they do that stuff. I think that it's a new design, and because of the pandemic or changes and stuff, I don't think it got stress tested like it normally would be. Serious questions about MK and Street Fighter Legacy cabs? Sure. Drop it on me, man. I got time. Playing my Star Wars pinball every day. Still, it's great. Trying not to buy the other. I know, right? That was the hardest part. Okay, well, yes. My side art on Street Fighter on one part is peeling a little bit. I will admit that. The other night when I did my live stream, I put my hand down and I could feel it coming off. Now, it wasn't coming off because of rubbing it and playing it. It was just already coming off. Sometimes that stuff happens. Nobody's perfect. They're pushing these things out as quick as possible. And I've got cabinets with damage. Like my Mortal Kombat Legacy cabinet, the riser had a pretty good ding in it that didn't have the typical Arcade1UP marker fix, but I've gotten to the point where I'm kind of over that. Unless it's like a big issue, I won't reach out to them. I've been on vacation away from social media for 5 months. My 3-year-old nephew used my account. What did I miss? Definitely not Zohar. But by the way, Amy in customer service at Arcade1UP is amazing to deal with. I got on the wrong side of somebody with Arcade1UP customer service. I kept getting the same person, and I can be difficult because I have really high expectations sometimes. So I think I got moved to a difficult customer queue at one point. Oh yeah, I love when they do the different, like I'm a lot like B, right? I'm a lot like B because I get so interested on the different aspect. Like Outrun, it's because it's a steering wheel with the pedal. That's why I want to get it more than the game itself. No matter what driving cab it was, that's why I was interested. Same with Buck Hunter. If it was a more interesting game, I would have been all over it because I can't help myself. But I know, like, I'm not a big... I have no nostalgia for Buck Hunter. That's the only way. Michael B. the Game Karen. Yeah, that's me. I'm sure they felt that way many times when I called in. I have really high expectations because I got wicked OCD. So when I get a cabinet and the bezel is, not spot on where it should be and I can't fix it myself, I may have sent several messages about it. And, I panicked and probably didn't do it the best way I could have. It is past my bedtime. It is so late in Newfoundland. It is currently 12:46 a.m. Yeah, and here's the other thing, too. You never know what you're going to get when you reach out to Arcade1UP. Like, I bought my Centipede cab last year, and I reached out to him, and I was like, oh, my cabinet didn't come with my plexiglass deck protector. And, they wrote back, and they were like, well, sorry, it doesn't come with it, so you're getting nothing. So then I had to find another way to get one. Yet someone just a couple months ago wrote in, and they're like, yeah, I bought Asteroids from, I forget what that discount store was in the States, reached out to Arcade1UP, and they sent him a free plexiglass deck protector. Like, so inconsistent, but it seems like they do really cool things for people sometimes. Just have to be different. Yeah, I know. Well, when I was at Jim, thank you so much for sticking with me too, and watching. When I was at Mike's house there the other day, one of the other girls that was there, she actually, she said she loved Buck Hunter, and she goes, well, I grew up from around the shore, and people that have more of that outdoorsy mentality, Buck Hunter's a big thing for them. The other reason Buck Hunter's a huge thing is because it's a really popular bear game. So, like, growing up, I remember I go to pool halls, but I mostly played pool. That's what I was there for, and maybe to try to interest a girl in paying attention to me, which didn't happen as much as I would have liked. Ollie's, that's it, Red Sea Gaming. So a lot of other people, while they were drinking, they weren't playing pool, they would go over, and there was always two specific arcade games in pool halls and bars. You would see Golden Tee, and you would see Buck Hunter. Why Arcade1UP has done so well with both those games, because a lot of us in arcades have had it, but I don't remember them from arcades. I remember them from bars and pool halls. And people with basement bars and basement billiards room, I guarantee you those are the most bought cabinets for those areas. Richard Lamb, when I get my Simpsons, my childhood collection will feel complete. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big one for everybody. Exactly. Buck Hunter was in every bar you ever went to. I remember lots of Golden Tees, lots of Buck Hunters at bars. Playing Buck Hunter doesn't get girls. No. My pool playing didn't either, but I was pretty good. Also a lot of bowling games. Yep. Deck protectors, arcade accessories. Yes. You know what's funny? Before arcade accessories became what arcade accessories are now, I was looking for a Rampage deck protector, and they went out of their way to try to help me when they were just getting started. I'm so glad they're doing so well. Everybody likes their product so much. I didn't get my Rampage deck protector from them, but it's good to see that they're doing that, especially now because Arcade1UP haven't replaced the stock that has been on the website. People have been waiting for it for 7 to 8 months. I mean, the wrong streamer cable. It's much upgraded one instead of the correct one. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I really appreciate you tuning in tonight. Like I mentioned, it's 12:49 here. Jim, yeah, I'm going to call it a night too. So, guys, thank you once again for joining me for the Chill and Chat. Michael B. You guys have made my Monday a lot more fun than it used to be, and I really appreciate everybody tuning in and getting to talk with me about all this arcade stuff that I like so much. we'll see you guys next Monday night. Keep watch later this week. I'm probably going to do a live stream for my Pac-Man Arcade1UP Legacy cabinet. We'll take a look at those games. And hopefully this week I can actually get a review out. At least I'll get my review done for the Street Fighter 2 Capcom Legacy cabinet. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful night. Thank you again so much for hanging out with me, and I'll talk to you next time.